Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us here at Lovely Being You. So there are three different versions of you in your time span. You'll have childhood, you'll have adulthood, and then you have seniorhood. That's the hood where people say, okay, you let your hair down and you don't care, okay? It's when you've reached a certain point where you work so hard and it's time to let your hair down, We see in the United States, anyway, we see our senior citizens working way past the age that they should be working. When do they get the opportunity to really let their hair down? When they're able to just go on vacation, relax, and not have to worry about losing their home or losing their car. Now, of course, after certain age, you won't be driving anymore. And that's in most cases because your eyesight or maybe you just don't feel like driving. Maybe some people don't even like driving now, so they won't drive in their senior years. Something is wrong in a country where the senior citizens can be homeless and they are unable to take care of themselves and not being cared for, or being taken advantage of a system. Why is it that every other country we go to, the senior citizens are cycling with family members, enjoying their senior years in retirement? I know a woman who decided to go on a cruise, and throughout her senior years, this is what she does. She's downsized, gotten rid of a lot of her things, and basically she just has her clothing, and that's what she does. She realized that by going into the senior center, they've taken all of her money and she's unable to make certain choices and decisions. But if she goes on a cruise ship, she can travel the world and not have to worry about it. Of course, she has to change ships every now and then, but it's more so because that's what she chooses to do. In our childhood, in our childhood, we have our parents to count on, or guardians. Then you reach, you get older, you reach adulthood, and you're able to make certain decisions on your own or whatever and manage yourself well. But once you become a senior, it seems as though the ball is dropped. I had a best friend. Well, we were very close friends. I met this girl named Durga, I'll call her. And Durga had a grandmother in the senior center. Well, it wasn't really a senior center. It was apparently once she'd reached a certain age and her husband was no longer with her, the system allowed her, in Canada, they allowed her the ability to be able to live. And I believe she lived in a 2-bedroom. And she had an assistant, a person who took her to all of her appointments and stayed with her. And I believe the person took Sundays off where she was able to spend with her family. But she was very independent, so she could have very well done this on her own. On Sunday, had a day to herself. What's wrong with a day to yourself? When you love yourself, you want to spend time with yourself, right? We need to make sure that we're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. If we're not managing our money correctly, and we don't allow or have our senior citizens have this freedom, have this flexibility, then we're doing something wrong. It's important that we figure something out. Certain companies should have a senior department where that's the department that focuses solely on the senior citizens to make sure that their needs are being met. So even if they're working, this would be a person who would be a senior who would be able to implement different things that manage, or should I say, that work for the senior citizen, that help the senior citizens. Because we should not have the issue where our senior citizens are not able to afford to live. There should be a system put in place where their money is being managed better so that they're able to live a nice, comfortable life as senior citizens. One day you will be a senior citizen and you will have the same concerns if we don't fix it now. So let us consider that. Let us think about that. Let us pray on that so that we find ourselves in a better situation. For it is so lovely just to be you. Thank you.